Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Alliance. Of course, I'm your host, Clay, and with me, like every single week, of course, is Katie. Katie, how you doing?
Hello, guys. I'm doing good. Today was ordinary, which is always scary to say because that you never know what tomorrow brings. But
I totally get that. So, uh, for myself, I will say I have been doing a lot of stuff for our social media as far as like
yes,
creating content, planning content. Um, if you actually go and check right now, you will see that we have a go live announcement that jumps on our Blue Sky and our Threads and our Instagram. And I just kind of play with some things, our themes of the night and everything else. Our main topic, of course, is the High Republic Adventures Volume 4 of Phase 3. So that is our main background for our Go Live tab or Go Live announcement on Instagram. I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And as I just told Katie before we went live, I am struggling to wrap my head around all of the things that we have to read all the time. And that's mainly because I am also deep in trying to keep a 2 year old, almost 3 year old, entertained for 9 hours of the day, which is a lot harder when you don't want to just be that parent that's like, hey, here's the iPad, go have fun, you know? So it's a lot of fun. It's don't you
yeah.
can't you just tell in my voice it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm not. Daycare currently has hand, foot, and mouth and
Oh
strep going
no.
through. So I'm just like waiting because we've already had hand, foot, and mouth once this year, but it's apparently a different strain. So we're about to have that happen again. And I'm going to have to entertain a toddler while trying to
Fun.
work. Um,
That's gonna
so
be
yeah.
loads of fun.
Oh yeah, it is.
So today we have very little, very little news to talk about. There is one topic that was actually pretty interesting to see on on the news feed. We haven't really seen a lot of her in much of anything else, and I think there is totally a reason why, and it's she spells it out for us, and that is Katie Sackhoff. She described the struggles of her life after the Mandalorian as well as during the Mandalorian. One big thing was that the a lot of the articles basically came down to saying Katie Sackhoff could not relate and connect to her character of Bo-Katan.
And this is where I think the wavelength between Dave Filoni live action and the wavelength between Dave Filoni animated is so vast. And I don't know if it's been Favreau's influence or what, but on her show, on her podcast, The Sackhoff Show, she was talking to her Battlestar Galactica co star, Tomo Pinnekit. And I feel like the quote is super important. She said, I lost all of my confidence after Mandalorian, all of it. My style of acting has always just been your first instinct is the right instinct. Do that. Play the reality of the situation. And I've never really played a character. Do you know what I mean? I've always played two steps removed from myself, in a sense. It always felt grounded in some part of my belly of who I was. Bo Katan is nowhere near who I am as a human being. Her life what she wants. I didn't understand her. As much as I understood her, I never felt her in my stomach. I never identified with her. I didn't know how to find her. She actually chose not to audition for live action roles for 3 years after her role in The Mandalorian because her confidence was so lacking. Um, and I actually kind of got into a little bit of an argument in one of my local Star Wars group pages, um, where I was just like, I think this showcases how different the Mandalorian Bo-Katan is from who we thought she was in the Clone Wars and Rebels. And she doesn't specifically say like Bo-Katan as a whole or Bo-Katan for the
Yeah,
Mandalorian, but that's the assumption here.
I think that's really it. And I'm not saying, nor will I ever say, that somebody who's voicing a animated character can really sever themselves from that character. It's just as an important of a performance in animation as it is in live action. I think there was such a gap in Bo-Katan's story
Mm-hmm.
between Clone Wars, Rebels, and then jumping to Mandalorian. Katie Sackhoff did not get to take that journey.
Yep.
And I think that was a big deal.
And she probably didn't have that journey explained to her because they're so paranoid about losing something to the audience before the show airs.
Yeah.
Like, and you think about how Dave Filoni was with Mandalorian season 7, where he brought back, oh my gosh, I can't remember his name.
Clone Wars season 7, not Mandalorian season 7.
Sorry, Clone Wars season 7, where you get into Rebels and you have Ashley Eckstein and you have the Clone Troopers voice actor guy. What is his name?
Bradley Baker. D.
Yes,
Bradley.
D.
Yeah.
Bradley Baker. You bring them back, and Dave is like, "Oh, well, you're going to talk about the Battle of Mandalorian," and Ashley and D are like, "What happened at the Battle of Mandalorian?" And Dave's like, "Hopefully, you'll find out." Like
that
you can't.
You just can't do that. Like what there is, because of that, I could totally get where Katie is coming from, or
Yeah.
Kate Sackhoff, because it is so empty. You're just trying to, at that point, you're literally just saying words off of paper. You're not getting the feeling of the character. You're not getting the experience of the character.
Yep.
And you know, some people will say, "Oh, well, people do that all the time if you just read a novel. You're just reading a random book in somebody else's life, and, you know, fictional or nonfiction, whatever it may be."
But in that case, that's your interpretation of what's happening.
Exactly.
An actor putting themselves on screen, whether it's animated or live action, has to deal with being the representation of that character for the rest of their life, kind of thing. And the other thing, I don't think if Katie Sackhoff hadn't enjoyed the Clone Wars and hadn't enjoyed Rebels, I don't think she would have come back for live action Bo-Katan. We saw Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau recast several people. They like bringing back the voice actors, but sometimes that's not going to happen. And I think if she had said, "No, I don't want to come back," they would have found somebody else. So in my opinion, it's a definitive, The Mandalorian is to blame. The production, whether it's production or just in the jump in the character, I don't know if we'll see Katie Sackhoff come back to play Bo-Katan.
And you know, it's I hate to see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you hate to see that happen. And I think that Lucasfilm as a whole, especially Dave Filoni, they need to open up to the world that they're building.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have things like, for instance, the big talk of the town right now on the internet is Brand New Day Spider-Man.
Hmm.
You have set photos and set photos and set photos. You have conversations of that young woman from Stranger Things. I don't know her
Sadie
name.
Sink.
Yes. There's speculation of who her character is, and there's, oh, rumor says this, rumor says this, rumor says this. There's a constant conversation, which in turn will lead to some people getting disappointed because not
Hmm.
every rumor is going to be true. And
Yep.
I think the really silly thing is that Lucasfilm is afraid to let people down.
Yep.
Here's the
100%.
problem.
Because you look um at like Avengers Endgame, where the Russo brothers were like, oh, somebody actually guessed the ending or the start of Endgame. And so we had to completely change things because we didn't want it guessed. So what? That person doesn't know the right until they came to the screen.
And it's so silly and so dumb. Because what you need to understand, Lucasfilm, is you may have billions to your name, millions to your name, but you do not have the privilege currently of getting to be picky.
Hmm.
Right now, there is so much expectation of what's to come with the Ryan Gosling film, with the Daisy Ridley film, with the James Mangold film. Yes, there is a lot of pressure, but guess what? Do you know what's going to get people excited regardless of what happens in the movie? If you let people in. If you get people
Talking
excited
about
you
Star
talk,
Wars.
you talk about the film. You talk, you talk, you talk, you talk. Now, do we need to know the entire film? No. Seeds, crumbs. This is how people do it. It's very, very simple.
And it's something that I think Star Wars is struggling to understand. It's struggling to move into that 21st century. And I say 21st century, I've struggled to move into the social media craze of everything. Like,
Hmm.
people do struggle with that, but businesses as a whole can't afford to do that. And, like, any publicity is good publicity. And the
Yes.
more people talk about Star Wars, the more people are going to be excited for the film.
Like honestly, as somebody who is literally married to a social media manager, who is uh who is somebody who is always on the internet, I have absorbed that, and that's why I've taken it upon myself to jump on the Star Wars Alliance social media and the Ranger Alliance social media, because I am learning these things from my wife. Guys, there was no better day for social media this week than yesterday.
Proposal.
Yesterday was at it. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I didn't see anything from Star Wars. The only
No.
thing, the only thing I saw was from fan accounts because I posted it in the Star Wars Alliance Twitter DMs. Was the, oh, our English teacher and gym teacher, and it was Princess Leia and the scoundrel, the children's book illustration. And I was like, that's perfect. Somebody literally gave you a layup, and Star Wars didn't take it. Like,
I don't.
why?
It's-
Why?
It's so mind blowing to me because you look at and like people will talk about the intern that runs the social media account. The intern that runs the Star Wars social media account, I feel it goes through waves and is like, oh, I don't want to get fired. Oh, I'm perfectly fine with getting fired. And I'm not saying there's an intern running the Star Wars social media account, by the way, because people
Yes,
have started to take
it's
offense
the-
to that, but it's the premise.
It's the terminology. Yeah. I get it. I understand. And
They're worried about getting fired. They're not worried about getting fired. We
Exactly.
go through these waves where there's hype on the Star Wars social media, and then we go through months where there's no hype.
yeah, and to circle this all back to Kitty Sackhoff, it's the fact that and we've said it this entire time, but Star Wars needs Lucasfilm, and I think maybe somewhat even Disney. And
Hmm.
I think Disney has seen Marvel and the MCU, and they're like, okay, y'all have free reign to do whatever you want. Hey, Star Wars, there's some controversy, so you may need to lay back. And so it might be Disney. But regardless, either or, hey, if I was in Lucasfilm, if I was in charge of social media, and Disney said, hey, tone it down a little bit, I would turn that shit to 11. I'm sorry. Like, I would say, hey, F this. I'm probably getting fired for this. But, but people need to get hyped for these types of things. And with Katie's character, with the writing style, and a lot of people will hear this and be like, oh, well, that's not even Lucasfilm, that's not Disney, that's all Dave Filoni. We are not 100% sure on that. We can't put the sole blame on Dave Filoni. Now, would we
Correct.
like to? Probably, with the way that the writing went, but it wasn't just The Mandalorian isn't something that's just Dave Filoni. That's
Hmm.
John Favreau also. So we don't know who's 50%, who's 49%, like we don't know all of that.
And I
I
think the
just
ultimate goal at the end of it is that we want Lucasfilm to have a little more flexibility in sharing these storylines with the characters that are known for portraying them.
yeah.
Like, that's all at the end of the day. You want
Mhm.
Bo Katan to come back and be a part of the galaxy far, far away and have her moment in the spotlight. Well, then share where her character's going at the end of it instead of surprising them for fan service moments. Because let's all be real. Pretending that you were acting that Plo Koon was the rescue in Mandalorian season 2, you're not going to have the same result
Yeah.
as rescue with Luke Skywalker. Like, and you can say, oh, well, I didn't want Katie Sackhoff or Pedro Pascal fangirling over Mark Hamill. But, like, also at the same time, Luke Skywalker's a hero in the galaxy. He's fanboyed over regardless.
Well, not only that, guys, these are professionals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I get it. Of a lot of people, there's probably going to be an argument of, oh, what about Mark Ruffalo and Tom Holland and all the people that have, accidentally screwed up things for MCU? Yeah, mistakes happen. But you can't immediately, like, do you know how unprofessional it is to assume that everybody's going to fuck up? Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's not cool. Like, so, all in all, when down to the nitty gritty, the main lesson learned here is Lucasfilm, Disney, Star Wars. If you have a built-in story for said characters, and that story plays a indirect part in a story that a actor has to play, give that story to that actor.
Mm-hmm.
Because Katie Sackhoff would have had probably so much more confidence in playing those parts. It wouldn't have been as quote unquote dull or empty or whatever people may have described that performance to be. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed her character because I love her as an actress. So that's just me. And I know that there is a huge fan base that just is as crazy for Katie Sackhoff as people are for freaking Taylor Swift or Rhea Ripley in WWE. Like there's like wasn't she saying on her podcast like right after season 3 that like people were saying like, hey, can you sit on my face, and like all these like really weird things. Like it's just, hey, people enjoy people, okay? But yeah, I just think that hopefully this does come out, and I think it has. I think that there has been enough noise that this has reached Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
And I hope that Dave Filoni really sits on this and is like, "Hey, maybe I should change some things." Or Star
Yeah.
Wars says, "Hey, maybe we should change some things."
Because Katie Sackhoff is incredible, and she's brought a lot of life to Bo-Katan, making her who she is.
Yeah.
And I would hate to see any other actor take on the role at this point just because of what she's brought to the character and what she has apparently gone through to give us that character in live action. So, we love you, Katie Sackhoff. Hopefully, you get your confidence back, and hopefully, seeing this talked about helps give you the voice that you need to talk to Lucasfilm if there's anything there. So,
Yeah, 100%. The second piece of news comes from Visions, Star Wars Visions Season 3. We got the main poster.
I'm presenting it now. Here we go.
I think it is interesting that they went with the Roman numeral 3 compared to the actual number 3, because I believe it was Vision Season 2
Then
that was
with
an
the regular
actual
number.
Yeah, it was an actual English number. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this visual here?
I do love the poster for the most part. I love getting to see all the different animations to play. There does look like there's some more standardized animation in this season. But it looks like there's going to be a lot of bright colors and some different operatic themes. Like these stormtroopers here under the samurai Jedi, the duel guy.
Mm-hmm.
I do have one critique here, and this is probably just because I know that we have 3 returning characters or 3 returning story forms that were coming. We have the duel in this top left corner.
Mm-hmm.
We have the 9th Jedi in the top right corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Village Bride down here in the middle right.
Yes.
I get that this guy up here in top middle, and I'm presenting, guys, if you're listening, I do apologize, but this is the poster that's out right now, so you can go follow along. The top middle, this spider guy, probably for symmetry reasons and the fact that they wanted his arms or claws or whatever they are spread out, he probably needed to be in the middle to not throw everything else off. And he probably needed to be at the top.
Mm-hmm.
But because I know that we have 3 returning characters, I want the Village Bride up here in the middle.
At the top.
At the top.
Yeah. I think that would have been a really nice thematic thing, kind of just saying like, hey, these 3 paved the way for the rest of these, you know? I think that would have been pretty cool. I could also see this, like, I think it's like you said, a spider, but it's like a spider stormtrooper like amalgam thing. I almost think it would have been better if he was at the very bottom.
Yeah, because the
kind of like his
thinner down at the bottom.
Exactly, but
so
also his arms kind of would have been like almost like rounding out the circle of where it says Star Wars Visions, which I think would have been pretty cool. But yeah, for the most part, looking at all of these different art styles, I am liking what I am seeing. I don't know why in the Village Bride, their lightsabers have these like very weird, like almost
force field type things.
Yeah, that's surrounding their lightsabers. That didn't happen in the Village Bride, so I don't know why it's doing it here. And it may just be like kind of like how like just light hitting the lightsaber, it kind of makes it look like there's more of an aura around them or whatever. Okay, whatever. I have heard some things about this stormtrooper Uh,
Yeah. So this poster came out at Anime New York City Comic Con. Um, and the Stormtrooper one was actually the main focus.
which
Um,
is called Black, I think it was.
yes. And I'm gonna switch my screen real fast. We're just gonna share the window. So this is off of the Star Wars News Net article, guys. So this is one of the images from the preview of Black that was shown at the Comic Con. So we've got all of these different eyes and the green and the red stormtrooper. It's supposed to be very operatic and kind of focusing on the music. Um,
Also very kind of like psychedelic.
yeah.
I think people who are familiar with anime should get excited for this because the people involved in making Black uh, also are credited for critically acclaimed Akira and Spirited Away. These
Yep.
two films kind of are literal pillars when it comes to cinematic anime films. So I think this one is going to be very, very interesting. And I just now realized, literally, just looking at the screen while I was saying that, the reflection shows somebody who looks like probably a Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
So that might actually be somebody who's undercover, like somebody who's wearing stormtrooper.
Yeah.
That's cool. That is really cool. I literally just noticed that while I was talking.
Same.
So I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, guys. This does come out October 29th. We are 2 months out
Yes.
from season 3 of Visions, which is going to be super exciting. Now,
Yeah. And guys,
looking,
we'll probably do like an overall thoughts on the 30th. Um but then we'll go into November and December because we've got a lot in November. But December, we'll probably tackle 3 shorts at a time, doing like a deeper dive, just to kind of give you guys a heads up
I
for a
was gonna
general
say
review.
the drop is on a Wednesday, so it is going to be dropping a day that we do go live. So it'll be interesting to see if or like when they decide to drop it, whether it's gonna be another 2 a.m. drop or if this is gonna be something that drops at 9 p.m.
Yeah,
So
that's the big question.
yeah, so well, because each season so far has been a 2 a.m. drop. Like
Yeah.
last year's or not last year's, it was 2 years ago. Sorry, Vision season 2 was a it was a 2 a.m. drop as well. So
Yep.
I hopefully everything recently has been a like afternoon evening drop recently, so hopefully they have changed their ways and they're deciding to drop it. But there's no way. I would love for them to be a weekly drop.
Yeah.
If they had just suddenly announced like, hey, we want to keep the conversation going, these are going to drop once a week, I think that would be phenomenal, like honestly. And some people may
Yeah.
be upset for the fact that like these probably won't warrant a weekly drop, but like, hey, podcasters
Even
here.
yeah. Even like 3 at a time would be better. But
Yeah,
I am currently predicting that it's going to be a 2 a.m. drop. And it's going to be all 9 episodes. So
yeah.
it is what it is.
Well, it all depends because from if my memory serves me correctly, I think one of the shortest episodes of Visions is like what, like 5 minutes long. It's very short.
Yeah.
Whereas the longest one I think was uh
27 minutes.
I was gonna say the Ninth Jedi. ended up being somewhere close to 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
So, you know, hopefully, I want there to be a good amount of content for people to have these conversations to make it last a little bit. But I can see them, kind of dropping them in tears as far as like the time goes. Like I could see,
Yeah.
the duel being a 30-minute one, whereas Black may be only 10 to 15 minutes, and then the next one will be 5 minutes, and then, so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, last bit of news. This will be a very interesting one, considering I do not have Audible currently. Now, again, I for the podcast, I have no problem, reactivating my Audible account for us to do this, but there is a new Audible original coming in October. It is called,
October 9th.
yes, there is a specific date, October 9th. It is called Star Wars The Jaws of Jakku by Cavan Scott.
I am very excited for this. Don't get me wrong. I do think George Mann's audio dramas have been good, but I do think Cavan Scott's audio dramas have been my favorite for Star Wars. Um, so this is exciting. Plus, I know Cavan has always wanted to write a Rey story. Um, and so I know this means a lot to him in getting to talk about Rey and especially with his daughter. So this audio original is taking place after The Last Jedi, and it follows Rey, who is struggling to let go of her lonely childhood on the desert planet of Jakku. Hoping to have a breakthrough in her Jedi training, she returns to her home world with Finn and BB-8 in tow. When they meet a young girl on a dangerous mission to save her family, they travel through pitch black tunnels beneath the sand, where they encounter scurrying Gnawjaws, a haunting terror from the past, and maybe, just maybe, hope for them all. Um, there's really not too much to say on this. It's probably going to be another 5-hour
Well,
audiobook.
it actually has the time limit right underneath the
Ah,
title. It is a 3 hour and 53 minute
yep,
Audible original. This does kind of track with all of the Star Wars Audible originals. They've
yep,
been anywhere between the 3 to 6 hour mark. I believe the Obi-Wan Anakin one was a little bit on the longer side,
yeah.
comparatively to the High Republic ones that we reviewed earlier this year. But yeah, this one is just rounding up to 4 hours. I think that's a good enough story, you know?
Yeah, especially for a middle grade book. And returning to Jakku should be really interesting. Especially through a pair of fresh eyes. The Gnawjaws in particular are from the Force Awakens publishing initiative that took place in 2016 and 2017. Or I think it was 2015 actually. Um, Okay, the Star Wars News Net doesn't have it. But Gnawjaws are a creature from the Ray's Survival Guide book by Jason Fry. So, Kevin Scott loves his deep cuts.
Yep.
But
Very
uh,
nice.
yeah. So obviously with Clay not having Audible, we'll kind of play this review by ear, guys, but we will let you know when it goes into the pipeline.
Yeah, no, and honestly, like genuinely, if it drops on October 9th, I could very easily just set up a reminder, hey, October 9th, renew Audible. I listen to it, we review it, I get rid of Audible again.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, guys, the reason why I'm doing it is, for one, Amazon has been kind of scummy as a corporation, but I'm also saving a lot of money. A lot of my audiobooks, I am either
Libby.
checking out on Libby, or personally because I want to own the actual audio books that I purchase. I've been purchasing them off of Libro.fm. So that's genuinely been my course of action when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
audiobooks. But I believe that is it for our news segments.
Yes.
All right.
Which
Well,
means it's time to talk about the High Republic Adventures Volume 4.
yes. This does contain the issues 14, 15, and 16, as well as the Battle of Iriadu. So, I did not read issue 17 like I thought I was going to. And it took forever for my digital copy of Battle of Iriadu to download for some reason. I attempted to download it like 3 different times, and for some reason my phone just didn't want to download it. So I thought I was going to have to jump into this, episode with Katie just explaining everything. But thankfully, I got it to download, and I read everything earlier today. Katie, overall thoughts. How did you feel about this segment of the High Republic?
So, I really enjoyed these. It was consistent artwork, all except for the Battle of Iriadu, which is written by Alyssa Wong. The rest of it's written by Daniel Jose Older for 14, 15, 16, illustrated by Harvey Tolabau, Tony Bruno, and Elisa Romboli. And then we have colors by Michael Atiyeh and Dan Jackson, and then lettered by Comic Crafts, Tyler Smith, and Jimmy Betancourt.
Yay!
I'm going to enunciate the company or whatever it is from now on with the lettering.
Again, it is just something that the comic book space does every single time. And it just sounds weird when you don't say it. I'm sorry. But I really enjoyed these as well. And honestly, guys, because of our conversation 2 weeks ago, in regards to the dispatches of the occlusion zone,
which will be coming out next week, guys, when Clay
yes.
goes out on vacation.
Yes. We actually recorded it a little early. We spoilers for that conversation. I was not happy with the portion that had to deal with Drigget and kind of teasing the ending of Drigget and Gavi's story. And so I came into this book wanting to hate that story, and I didn't hate it.
Alyssa Wong really did an incredible job with the Battle of Iriadu.
Yeah.
I would be interested, because we know there's going to be an omnibus for the High Republic Adventures Phase 3. I would be extremely interested in getting that and having all of the High Republic Adventures comics lined up appropriately in timeline order. So not having Adventures by Daniel Jose Older, and then we have the one-shots, and then we have
I would be curious to see how they're going to decide, like, how the layout of that book is going to be. Because I agree. I think that it only makes sense to put it in timeline order. And people may think, oh, well, wouldn't that be release order? No!
No!
Not at all! Because, guys, you need to understand with these types of initiatives, they have to work around a book release schedule as well. So because of that, comics come out monthly, whereas books don't come out for like a whole year and a half or whatever. So there's some things that are going to be staggered. There's things that are going to have to be delayed. There's things that are going to come out early, and you're like, hey, what is this reference to? And then you read the book, and you're like, oh, okay, now I understand what that comic was saying.
Yep.
So I really do hope that they decide, hey, if people are going to want to read this entire High Republic initiative, it may be a little helpful if we lay this out in a timeline order.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, I would probably go sell my trades and pick up the omnibus because that's what I did for phase one because they didn't release a trade for volume 3, so I went ahead and grabbed um the omnibus and then I sold my trades. So I would basically do the same thing here because I think that would benefit the story so much to be all of the issues in timeline order. Um so yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Um,
I really love the artwork in this. I think Harvey does an incredible job. The way I picture Zine Morala now, always has to be how Harvey draws her. Like point blank. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Some of the covers by fan artists have also been really good, like the Sherry L one. I do love her in that, but Harvey's zine is the best. I also finally got curious with the weapon that Lula is holding because I did not remember this being explained. I thought that she all of a sudden had a dual-sided orange lightsaber staff thing. This is that I did not realize until the cover there is no orange on either side of this. This is a vibro staff.
Vibro. Oh, they call it a staff. Well, yeah, because it's called a vibro blade, and then when you have a dual bladed, it's called a vibro staff. That's right.
And so the orange is the vibro blade happening, and the weapons that Zine uses is not the same thing. It's just electric staff things. I forgot what it was called already, and I looked it up, of all things. But I always thought, oh, she's just moved on and her lightsaber has changed color. No, that is not the case.
And it's kind of misleading. And so a lot of fans, I was introduced to vibro blades and vibro staffs in the game of Knights of the Old Republic. In those games, there is like the way to depict why vibro blades are able to kind of withstand even that of an attack of a lightsaber is because it has like a certain aura around it, and that's what this orange thing is. So I'm actually going to show it on the YouTube. There she is right there. It's kind of and you're right, it is orange. There's like orange sparks, and so when you first look at it, you're like, oh, she has an orange lightsaber, but it is a vibro staff. You are correct. Yeah.
And I don't think in canon currently vibro weapons can withstand lightsabers. Just letting you know. I don't think.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Of course, they did that in the video game because it just would be way too broken of a video game for the character to be able to just get a lightsaber and then just like not have anything kind of challenge that character. But yeah, in actual canon, vibro blades and vibro staffs and anything vibro cannot withstand lightsabers.
Gotcha. Yeah. I do love this splash page. You had held up the one side on your phone just now, but this splash page where they're crossing the river and you have the Jedi side with the Nihil.
I really love the color pop. Even when you look at my phone, just the way, just the way that they were able to really make everything pop here. Because when I first look at it, for one, the very first thing that my eyes gravitate towards is, of course, every single lightsaber. The I immediately start looking at the hilts. But I love the ocean. I love the blue of the ocean. I think it really pops. It really does stand as like a literal separation piece for the splash page, which is really really fun. But yeah, really great colors. I love the art
Yeah.
in this book.
It really is superb. The other thing that I enjoyed in this was getting to learn more about how the warden joined up with General Weiss. Um and just kind of getting more exposure to his character. What did you think about that?
I hate the warden. um,
I do hate
uh,
the warden.
he is like honestly, he is ever since he's been introduced, he's kind of just been like I've had this type of feeling that he is just the annoying villain that will eventually get his comeuppings, right?
Yep.
And that's really all he's really been good at playing in every story that he's been a part of so far. And I did enjoy that as well. I love the kind of background. I know we're not going to get too much more because again, like for the most part,
We have
High,
one
Re-
more volume left.
High Republic has ended. But I do like how they are able to connect those dots because you're not just going to be Markion Rowe and just trust some random nobody
Yep.
to lead a portion of your galactic takeover, you know? So to have those connections, I think is very, very fun, very smart. But yeah, I enjoyed his parts. I also, again, wanted to hate Driggett's parts. I wanted to because of course just the way that I read them, I read it 14, 15, 16, and then I read Battle of Iriadu.
Yep.
So
That's how I read it
uh,
as well.
so like reading hers, I'm just reminded of our conversation from 2 weeks ago. I'm like, they're not gonna give me the proper ending that I want. I'm gonna hate this. Like, I know what her character is gonna end up doing and blah blah whatever. Uh, but no,
I
I
do.
really enjoyed it.
I think Driggett was originally Alyssa Wong's character, so Jose Older wanted to give Alyssa the chance to finish Driggett's story off.
Yeah.
Um, Daniel, as always, does an incredible job with his writing.
Hmm.
I really do love the story here and the dread that you feel as everything goes on. I love the moment where the Republic Armada comes through right at the end. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Volume 5 really finishes it off. Because clearly the Warden has one last attack under his sleeve. Um, and so we'll get that there.
Well, and I do want to ask you, because they are playing a really, kind of ominous feeling with this, and I do think 100% we are going to get some closure on this last volume. Master Farzala, how did you like Farzala's like existential dread throughout this entire?
I
Uh,
did enjoy it because I felt like he's really grown as a character, and I appreciate that Daniel has not left him behind. Like some of the other characters from Phase 1 have happened. I also like the Master or oh gosh, it's the tentacle guy.
yes,
Um
it was in the very beginning
Orbituk.
of issue 14. Yeah,
Was it 14? Um yeah. Okay, yeah. Or Orbituk.
yeah.
I loved that little moment with young Farzala and the dance of the blade, and that how like you always need to keep moving. I do think that's super important in a fighting style. So getting that exposure to him was super cool. Um, Farzala is definitely interesting. I do want to see more of him. Um, and I do think that Lula and Zine kind of got sidelined for him just simply because Daniel wanted to focus on a Jedi story.
Yes, but to be fair,
They just got done
for
having a big arc in 3.
for the most part, I think their story is over.
Really?
Yes and no. I still think there is a lot to kind of like. There's like maybe one or two loose ends for them,
Yeah.
but I think their story was their love story, and so for them to be married and they're like, okay, let's go save the universe together. I think that within itself is kind of like their happy ending. I'm not saying that their happy ending can't, just abruptly end.
Right. I and I guess this comes from my book sense of view. If you put two characters in the main focus,
You
I
should
want
have
to.
them. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They should be the. It,
I totally get it. I get it.
it's also I do know with comics you have like other covers and whatnot, but to me the trade you pick the one that represents the story the best. Yoda's not even in this story. Why
Well,
isn't this
and
Yaddle?
so here's the thing, Katie. One thing that, for the most part, comics have stopped doing this because there was such a harsh backlash. There used to be a time where publishers would literally put characters that they knew would catch people's eyes.
Hmm.
They would purposely put those characters on the cover, or they would put a really dramatic scene happening on the cover, and people would be like, "Oh crap, Batman's getting his head chopped off. Why is that happening?" And then you'd grab the book, and there would be nothing related to the cover. So that used to be a really popular thing to do in comics. They don't do it very much anymore because back in, I want to say, like 2019, 2020, Brian Michael Bendis, who famously helped co-create Miles Morales, he helped co-create Ironheart. Like he helped create a lot of characters in Marvel. He left Marvel, went to DC. A lot of people did not like his writing style for DC characters, and I was one of them. I did not like his style for the DC universe. But his books were tanking. Nobody was reading them. And so there was like a string of like 5 books, Katie, that covers were just absolutely ridiculous. And people were like, oh my gosh, what's happening in this book? And it was you might as well have put a Powerpuff Girls cover on like a freaking Etrigan the demon comic. Like it was like totally black and white, and so people were so confused. They were furious. And so DC and other publishers stopped doing that. They really stopped. So honestly, to see it on this cover, I was a little surprised because Zane was kind of in the background. Yoda was literally nowhere in this comic whatsoever. Yaddle was the only one that appeared. So yeah, I agree. I understand the concept of, oh, I'm gonna judge a book by its cover. I like these characters. I'm gonna grab it for these characters, and then you read it, and you're like, hey, where were these characters?
Yep. And this is like their very like traditional outfits from earlier in the series too, because this
Yeah,
whole 14, 15, and 16, they're in their wedding dresses. Like,
I love that. By the way, I
I
love
do love it.
Zine in that blue, like bluish teal dress, kicking ass. By the way,
Yes.
absolutely love it. Gorgeous. But I love the consistency. I love that these editors were not lazy, and they're not like, oh, just put these characters in whatever. They're like, hey, they just got off of their they just left their wedding, so they have
Yeah.
to be in these dresses. Love that, absolutely.
Or
love
if they were to have changed, they definitely needed to have a scene like, okay, let's get ready for battle.
that.
Like,
Yeah, 100%.
but they didn't do that. And I love the dresses element
Mm-hmm.
because it gives it like, and don't get me wrong, I think there's plenty of femininity in these comics, but
Mm-hmm.
it just gives it that extra air. Like, hey, I'm a girl, I'm in a dress, I'm in heels. I can
And I'm
kick-
still gonna kick ass, you know. Like yeah, I love it, especially when they made it such a big deal in that splash page of, I believe it was issue 13, or it was the wedding issue, one of the two, where they're like, okay, wedding's over, let's go fight, and like the whole splash page is everybody from the wedding, like with their weapons, and they're like taking
Yeah.
charge towards like
Your-
yeah, exactly. So like I love the consistency. I think it's really really fun. It's great. So yeah, I have really been enjoying this. Trying to think of there's any character before we get to the Battle of Iriadu.
Did you see Sinube
Sinube?
from the Clone
Oh,
Wars?
yes. Hold on. Yes, this is what I wanted to bring up. Hold on. So, no, okay. And I love that it's literally 3 panels, okay? You don't see him for the rest of the book. But the jaw-dropping moment of his reveal, and then the very next panel you see him in, he's just like, oh yeah, so I was undercover. How about you, young Padawan? And then like something like explodes, and then like it moved, like the scene just changes. Like you don't get any explanation whatsoever. Like and that's kind of why I wanted to be like, what the hell? Like,
So Sinube was Sav's master.
yes.
So he does a lot of appearances in the High Republic Adventures Phase 2. He's in like 7 issues there. I don't remember him being in it.
God damn, he's
Uh,
just as old as freaking Yoda.
Yep.
Until he gets, R.I.P. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like,
Yep.
that series, yeah.
So yeah, I was like, wait, Sinube's here? I had to go back to Wikipedia and go, wait, did we know he was alive? This is like the big thing with going back and forth between so many things, is like you forget about these characters. So I don't hate Sinube being here. Now I kind of want an Emmerich and Sinube side comic, because they're both Jedi investigators. So
Yes. Like, and the thing is, you cannot, this is, Lucasfilm, Marvel, whoever is in charge of the overarching stories of these characters, we are introduced to the character of Yoda in A New Hope, and then Empire Strikes Back, he dies, and we learn that he's like nearly 1,000 years old, okay? And so you're like, holy crap, this dude has lived for a very long time. And ever since then, we have learned that there's more and more characters and alien species within the Star Wars galaxy that can live just as long. Look at me. Filoni, Favreau, whoever found this podcast, look at me right now. I need more of these stories, okay? And I want actual concrete stories, okay? Sinube, like, he just like appeared. I need like an arc. I need like, we've teased and we've made fun of, like, oh, we're eventually going to get that, young Jedi Knight Yoda, comic eventually. Somebody's going to be brave enough to pitch it, and they're going to let him do it. If you're not going to be brave enough to publish a young Yoda comic, then you need to do it with these other characters that are just as old.
Yep.
Like I think it's only fair. Like to because you know what you oh my gosh you can do that and then like you have young Tsunube as a Padawan and guess who his best friend is? Yoda. But he's only in a small appearance. You see him in the background training with them, and you have him mention, "Oh yeah, me and Yoda were hanging out, in the library in the archives, blah blah blah." And people are like, "Oh my God, young Yoda!" So like, I think it needs to happen. Legitimately, I was so pumped when I saw him in this book. Like I
Yeah.
was, and it was just like like I said, 3 panels. It was literally 3 panels, and then they just threw it away.
You know,
And I'm just lingering here, like,
it is definitely an Easter egg for what's to come. Um, or like a placement where they can go back in 5 years and go, you know what? I'm going to write the story of how Sinupe got in those drill ships.
yeah,
Oh, the other thing that I had an issue with in this one. So they are still going on about the volcano that we find out about in dispatches.
hmm
Um and what's her name? Severin Tarkin says, "Hey, I really need a Jedi to go fix it." Um and she's like, "Oh, here it is. Okay, it's this one right in the beginning. This panel.
yes, hmm
And Court goes, and we need a team to stay here in Bree Frank. There's an urgent mechanical situation that needs attending. If only Ram was here." Where is Ram? Because wasn't he
So,
at the wedding?
yes, but if you go to the back of the book and go into the Battle of Iriadu, Gavi explains where everybody is. So currently, at this point in time, Ram is with uh Zine. Wait, what the hell? He should be there. Because he literally says Ram is with Zine and Lula.
Yeah. And
That doesn't make any
like,
sense.
and I think it was just a way of going, okay, we really don't want
I,
him like to fix the mechanical situation with the
I think
volcano.
so. I think because it could have very easily, like, they're setting up a challenge for themselves. It's literally the plot is the reason why Ram is not there. Like that is the
Yeah.
only reason is because the plot cannot have him there.
'Cause I need to pull up the wedding issue now. I really I gotta figure this out. Hang on. Okay, volume 3. So okay, here's the big giant splash page.
Yes. The very next page, you should see him. If it's not the very next page, then it was the page before. Like before they actually like had the ceremony. I am pretty sure Lula and Zine are talking to Ram.
Well, because he's the one who brought Gavi.
Yeah.
Okay, you continue because I'm gonna find this.
But yeah, I thought because literally I just said I genuinely thought that they had him go somewhere else, and that's why Gabby was like, "Oh," and I still feel connected to all of my friends because this is how I see the Force and everything else, right? Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, the fact that Ram is not there is literally just for the sake of, hey, we can't have this problem fixed in 3 panels. So we have to just kind of erase Ram for a second.
So there's the pirate granddaughter, and there's
Yes.
Gabby.
Yes. Oh, because also in the uh uh dispatches from the occlusion zone, Ram is also there.
Yeah.
He is there. So I unfortunately continuity errors, guys. It happens from time to time.
Okay. So yes, it is a continuity issue. So, okay. So here's Gabby, where he comes into contact with Lula, and I think Zine says, "Valo, where's Ram? Is he okay?" He got called away on an urgent mission after helping us liberate Valo again. But he sent me and the pirates here to warn you that the warden is on his way back. So where's Ram? Because he wasn't in Trials of the Jedi.
Ram, again, from what I can remember, he was with Zine. Or not Zine, sorry. Who is the
Gabby.
no, Zyle, sorry. I knew it was with a Z. Zyle.
Yeah, Zyle, the granddaughter pirate.
Yes. Yes. The last time we saw Ram was with Zyle. And that was in the dispatches of the occlusion zone in Iriadu City. Like it is literally all there.
I got
Katie just
Okay.
ran to her shelf to grab dispatches, just to confirm.
Dude,
this
if we just
continuity
read
error.
this one. Okay, so there's Court and there's Ram with
Yep.
Farzala.
Yep.
Court is basically reporting on everybody's movements.
Yep. Like it's simply just that. Unfortunately, they did not write a scenario where Ram had to leave. They just forgot that he was there, or they quote unquote forgot he was there.
Okay, so there's issue 2 with Drigget, and he's not in this one. He's not going to be in the Emmerich one. No, that's the only part Ram is in this.
In that one panel,
Yeah.
that can't be true.
That is true. I'm telling you.
I have no idea then. I don't know
Okay.
why.
So Wikipedia has him in the Battle of Iriadu as a vision to Gabby.
Yeah.
He's in 14 and 15 as imagination, like imaginative appearance.
Uh-huh.
He's in 17, which is not in this one. It's in the next volume.
Yeah.
And then he's in 19 and 20. So maybe we'll learn what happens to Ram next time.
All right. Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
Sorry, guys. That was a ginormous detour, but I was like, where the fuck is Ram?
But other than that, I think that the only place to go forward in this conversation is the Battle of Iriadu. Gavi, Drigget, Rue. As I said in the very beginning of this review, I genuinely wanted to kind of hate this ending for Gavi and Drigget because I didn't feel satisfied with the build up to what this will eventually be.
Yep.
I like it. Even in the very first few pages, I was like, I don't like it. I don't like this doesn't make any sense, blah, blah, blah. Oh, here's Drigget, well, like, I was kind of mocking it, and then as I was reading it, I was like, God damn it, this is so good. Um, I, I, and maybe to the freaking talent that is Alyssa Wong, um, I think she has a great voice
they.
for Drigget. Sorry, I think they have a great voice for Drigget. Um, we did not like we knew, but we didn't know, and it was kind of convoluted with Drigget's story and what they really wanted from going to the dark side, to going with the Nihil, right?
Yep.
We learned in Escape from Valo that she betrayed her friends, and that even then it presented it as like, I'm only doing this because I hate the Nihil. And you're like,
Yep.
okay, what the hell does that even mean? And so we were like, okay, we're on board with this. Let's learn more about it. And unfortunately, just with the way our schedules have lined up with the release schedules of these books, we haven't been able to really catch up on that until now. And so we really did feel like, hey, like, there's not much here. How are they really going to end this story between Drigget and Gavi to feel fulfilled? And literally within like 3 pages of the back and forth of, like, you see Drigget and then you see Gavi and then you see Drigget and then you see Gavi, and then eventually there's that one page where they're literally face to face.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to throw my phone because I was so angry at how much I liked it. I
Yeah.
I love the contrasting colors, the way that Drigget is thinking of, like, oh, like, you can feel it in the pages of, like, she can finally let go. She's finally gonna get rid of this. She's getting her revenge. Like,
Yep.
it feels so good. And then, like, at the same time, you're like, Gavi, no, like, don't do this. Like, you're only gonna get hurt again. It's just so good. It was so good.
Yeah, and I go back and forth on if I really needed that much preview to how the relationship was on Valo. But in the grand scheme of things, I really think it lended itself well to the comic format to
It
do that.
pulled at the heartstrings.
Yeah. Especially with like them like trading in outfits and like Drigget following along to Jedi practices and stuff. Like it really worked well. Alyssa did an incredible job. The colors by Dan Jackson are superb. And I love how consistent um Elisa Rumpel's artwork is. Like, I
Yes.
feel like it flows very well with the previous issues, but I also feel like it stands on its own as their art and everything. So I really give props to that because it's hard to blend in your own artwork and make it feel like it belongs in somebody else's series. So superb work all around, really.
Like, this right here, it's so goddamn good. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. The way that they played with Gavi's connection to the Force, these
Yep, the threads.
strings, the threads, and how he's like holding on to it because he doesn't want to let go of Drigget, and like he's just running towards it and running towards it and running towards it. Absolutely love it. I really love, there is uh the again, remind me who the colorist is on this book.
Dan Jackson.
Dan Jackson. There is just an amazing work with shadows on this,
Hmm.
with the brightness of the lightsaber to the brightness of the explosions to the blaster shots, like everything pops. There's a shadow wherever there needs to be a shadow. It is so good. The shading is so good here. I really love, like I said, the page that I just showed. It's the page where they are hugging. Driggett's crying. She's like, "I don't even deserve your forgiveness." He's like, "Oh, well, that's too bad. You got it anyway, you know."
Mm-hmm.
But I also love like the back and forth between the warden and Drigget, because
Yep.
eventually, when her plan does succeed, uh, he's like, well, what's going on? Like, he's confused as hell because she very convincingly was like, hey, just put me in charge for a second. You know, like,
Yep.
I got this. Like, I can definitely do this, okay? You should trust me because look at how many people I killed for you and, like, all this other stuff, right? And so he's like, yeah, sure, yeah. I'm very proud of who you are becoming, Drigget. Is literally some of the last words he speaks to her with. And the back and forth finally when she is executing the plan, destroying the excavators and everything else, and how she just like literally just like a badass throws the comm unit and just blasts it on the ground, like screw
Yes.
you, like you'll never see or hear from me ever again. I just love it. It's some could probably say like, okay, that's a little overkill, it's kind of dramatic, but because of the weight that all of this is really holding on both Gavi and on Driggett's character, to finally kind of let go of that is what this issue is really about. And I
Mm-hmm.
really, really enjoyed that. I think that it came
Yep.
across very, very well. And like even towards the end, like when she is kind of hating herself so much for what she has done, how she has changed as a character through all of this, she still is a badass. Takes Gavi's lightsaber, is like, hey, I don't know how to use this, but I have watched Gavi train for years, so I think I know a thing or two. And is actually able to fight with it, which I thought was absolutely amazing. Very, very
Yep.
fun, very cool.
Such
And
great
then,
work with the fight scene and showing that struggle that she's having to hold that lightsaber up. Because we know, despite what it looks like, that it's a beam of plasma, it actually is very heavy
yeah,
and can weigh on a person emotionally, which makes it even heavier.
not only
So,
that, but like the balance of the fact that like literal plasma has no weight to it, but
yep.
the weight of the hilt and everything else inside of it, like there is a reason why these Padawans train from a very young age to be masters eventually, you know? So I loved all of that. Again, shading here is really, really fun. The panel progression for this fight is really cool. And like even the ending, like I like I kind of hate it, but at the same time, it's so good I can't hate it because
It really
there's
makes sense for Drigget.
it makes sense for Drigget, but there's literally no conclusion between the two of them. But you're still satisfied, which is why I'm a little upset. Because again, I wanted that conclusion, I wanted that resolution, and there is a little bit of it, but like Alyssa almost leaves like a little bit of like, hey, you know, kind of like you were saying with oh crap, Master
Sunube?
Sunube, sorry. How it's kind of like, oh, you know, eventually we can go back to this and tell these stories, right? You almost get a little crumb of like, oh, you know what? She's gone, but I can still feel her. I still have this thread. We are still connected, and you know, maybe someday we can see each other again. Like,
Yep.
it gives you hope, and I'm just like, God damn it! I still want to read this story.
Well, guys, I do in fact think that is about it for us at this point. Do we have anything else, Clay?
Yeah, no. I will say I do like the mask that Drigget donned at the very end. I thought it was very like vigilante
Yep.
esque for her to just take that Nihil mask and be like, hey, you know, I'm just gonna do my own thing. I thought was really fun. But no, I think that is it. I think this was a great story. We still have one more volume of the High Republic Adventures. And still, we don't know what's to come next. Guys,
Yeah.
New York Comic Con is literally around the corner. We could be getting any announcement. Remember, like, one thing that the publishing movement for Star Wars has said over and over and over again, they don't have to wait for San Diego. They don't have to wait for Star Wars Celebration. They don't have to wait for any Comic Con. They can just do whatever, and they really feel like they are confident enough with their initiatives, with their plans going and moving forward, that people are just going to be like, cool, yeah, word of mouth will get there, social media will get there. And
Yep.
so I'm excited for New York Comic Con because there is always hope that something could come out of that. I believe they have made announcements at New York Comic Con before. New York Comic Con is a little bit more of a bigger convention, bigger enough for like even studios to make announcements for movies and animated TV shows. So hopefully we will see something coming out from Star Wars Publishing.
Yep.
With that though, again, guys, thank you so much for being here. Just like Katie pulled up on the YouTube, find us please over at Blue Sky and Instagram. I just tried to. I don't think I've actually signed in on Threads, but like I went to the Instagram, the Star Wars Instagram account, and then I pressed the little Threads button, and it immediately took me to my Fanboy Clay account, and I'm like, what the heck? So, eventually, once I figure it out, you can also find us on Threads. You will start to see more stuff on our social media accounts after my vacation. I have decided that I'm in the planning stage, I'm in the preparing stage, but we will have more stuff on our social media
We're
after
working
like
on it,
this.
and Clay's
Yeah.
Clay's gonna give me assignments. So
But speaking of assignments, Katie also reminded me that we're gonna have to do a Star Wars quiz soon.
yes, Dragon Con is this
Uh,
weekend.
I am super terrified because I don't think I remember any of the answers. So I know that one answer, that one question that like 95% of people get wrong. I know that I'm gonna get wrong. Like
Oh yeah,
I think
I
I
feel
think
like
I literally got it right last year just because of guessing. Like I know that I'm gonna get it wrong this year. So
well, if it makes you feel better, that's typically the only question that returns to the quiz. Everything else is brand new. So,
oh my gosh.
um,
So yeah, so other than following the show on Blue Sky and Instagram, you can also find me over on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads. I have been doing a piss poor job at, all of my reading assignments that I've been giving myself. Again, I am, really trying to entertain a 2-year-old for 9 hours of the day. So reading is unfortunately on the bottom of the list of things to do. But I am planning on reading a lot of stuff or listening, should I say, to a lot of stuff on my flights and on my vacation. So if you would like to follow me on that journey, go ahead and do so on those accounts. But Katie, where can people find you?
y'all, you can find me on most social media platforms. It's at Slice of Katie. Remember, we are on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads. Star Wars Alliance is the username that you can find us at. Remember, there's no A in the wars. That's super important. Don't forget it. You can also shoot us a text or leave us a voicemail. Wow, I can do two at the same time. Sorry, I didn't know that. Otherwise, I would have had both up. 830-538-4828 is that number you can reach us at. You can also shoot us an email. It's the same username as our social media, Star Wars Alliance, no 8 in the wars, at gmail.com. Just remember, give us a way to refer to you on the show. We'd love to hear from you guys. With that, I want to wish everyone a great day or night, whatever time of day you are listening or watching, and we will see y'all next time. May the Force be with you.